Excellencies, fellow speakers, as well as ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Peace be upon you. I'm Yusnia Hamidah, and I'm delighted to officially welcome you to the final project presentation of low emission energy platform on LEAP software today in System Engineering, Gadjah Mada University. First, may I thank to Excellency Sir Ahmad Agus Setiawan, STMSc PhD, as a lecturer who has guided us in the regional development system based on renewable energy. And then thanks as well to Mas Syukron and Pak Pri, who helped us to facilitate this final project presentation. And lastly, I do also want to thank all the presenter and the participants today, because this semester the quality and caliber of speaker this semester is outstanding. Thus, I hope that all of you were looking forward to the presentation this morning, and as much as I am. So now, I would like to introduce our first speaker, which are Muhammad Iqbal, Mas Andika, and Ismail, with the title Geothermal Energy for Electrical Generation in North Sumatra 2020 until 2050. And I would also request the audience to remain seated and listen to our speakers, as thereafter they shall be liable to raise their doubts and questions. These doubts and questions will be taken up during the question and answer section. So please, to the first speaker, you can start the conference now.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Yusnia. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. We are from Group 1, and here we will present our project about geothermal energy for electrical generation in North Sumatra by 2022 until 2050. And this is our outline presentation today. First, we will explain about introduction. Second, framework geothermal LEAP model. Third, energy demand and supply model. And then we will continue explain about policy and regulation, the scenario, and the last is energy analysis. Next, we move to the introduction. We know that North Sumatra is one of the provinces in Indonesia located in the northern part of the island of Sumatra, bordered by Aceh to the north and by West Sumatra and Riau to the south, with the provincial capital in the city of Medan. Geographically, North Sumatra province has an area of 72,981.23 square kilometer, consisting of 33 districts or cities. North Sumatra province is in the Bukit Barisan mountain range, but apart from having mountainous areas, this province also has coastal areas. This also indicates that this region has a lot of renewable energy potential, such as geothermal potential and hydro potential. And according to RUPTL, Indonesia has geothermal potential of 23,965 megawatt, and the greatest potential is on the island of Sumatra, around 9,679 megawatt. And the geothermal energy potential in North Sumatra reaches 20 megawatt. This potential consists of resources: speculative 250 megawatt, hypothetical 388 megawatt, and reserve possible 705 megawatt, and proven 503 megawatt. And the current utilization of geothermal resource in North Sumatra accounting for 5.1% of the development include Sibayak Geothermal Power Plant 12 megawatt, Lumut Balai Geothermal Power Plant 55 megawatt, and Sarula Geothermal Power Plant 330 megawatt. And it means that there is still around maybe 94% potential that has not been developed in North Sumatra. Next, we move to the list of renewable energy in North Sumatra. In potential renewable energy, we have solar potential in the value around 53%, hydro 23%, geothermal 9%, wind 2%, bioenergy 13%, and biomass around 0 point something. And then energy production, we have for wind 41%, hydro 30%, geothermal 29%, and bioenergy around 0 point something. Next, we move to the research purpose. First, our research purpose is find out the geothermal potential in North Sumatra as a source of electricity generation to replace fossil fuel. And the second is analysis of creating geothermal optimization scenarios in North Sumatra. And the third, compare the result of the scenario that have been created, business as usual versus renewable energy optimization. And the last is find out the emission trends from the two scenarios that have been created. And then the next presentation will be continued by Mr. Iqbal.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Andika. Next, we will presented about our energy demand model from the software of we use the LEAP platform. Energy demand model we create is we have two scenario. The first is BAU and the second is REO, or BAU is business as usual and REO is renewable energy optimization. And then we have two assumption in our mathematical model and modeling the energy demand. The first is population growth and the second is economic growth that will affect the electricity and non-electricity demand. We have 6 sectors included into the variable of electricity and non-electricity, such as household, industry, business, social, government office, and public lighting. We have the assumption, the first is population growth, 2% in BPS. Next, we have economic growth, 1 to 4% in BPS source. And then the third, we have sector growth, energy intensity untuk household 6%, industry 5%, business 8%, social 1.6%, government 4.7%, and public lighting 2.2% from Gatrik ESDM and PLN statistic 2022. Next, we have the LEAP framework model to our simulation. We have the variable, the three variable, population, policy, and regulation, and then the macroeconomics variable that will affect the analysis energy demand in North Sumatra, included electricity and non-electricity. Next, from the flowchart, we can see the electricity energy transformation analysis is about power plants and other transformation. And then for the electricity energy supply model in North Sumatra, we have 10 resources, included natural gas, solar, coal, hydro, diesel, geothermal, biogas, biomass, wind, and CNG. And then the final analysis is about GHG, or greenhouse gas analysis. And then the assumption and the data about the policy and regulation we have is, the first is demand and transformation from RUPTL 2021 to 2030. And we have from RWN and RWD North Sumatra 2022. And then for the greenhouse gas analysis, we have the data source from IEA and IPCC Tier 1. Next, For the electricity demand modeling in our LEAP simulation, we have 6 variable about business, government office, household needs, industry, public street lighting, and social into electricity demand 2022 until 2050 per sector. In electricity demand increase, the electricity demand increases every year. In 2022, electricity demand in North Sumatra will be 6.7 trillion gigawatt hour, while in 2050, electricity demand will reach its peak point at 74.8 trillion gigawatt hour. And the largest demand for electricity in North Sumatra comes from the household sector. And in 2022, electricity demand in the household sector will be 5.6 trillion gigawatt hour, while in 2050, electricity demand in the household sector will increase to 61.5 trillion gigawatt hour. Next, for the non-electricity energy demand per sector, we have 5 variable: biofame, bio-HSD, biosolar, kerosene, and oil fuel. And then the demand for non-electricity energy also increases every year. The largest demand for non-electrical energy is come from biodiesel. We can see in the graph, and in 2022, demand for non-electricity energy in biodiesel will be 1.5 billion ton of oil equivalent, while in 2050, demand for biodiesel will increase to 8.1 billion TOE. Next, our modeling for geothermal energy electricity generation, we have 2 scenarios. The first is BAU, business as usual, is the scenario, the projection scenario with conditions like this in the base year, with any change to applicable policies and other intervention that could reduce consumption rates. And the second scenario, we have REO, or renewable energy optimization, the scenario where it assume that final energy consumption will be reduced by implementing energy conservation and efficiency program in accordance with the government's target in the national energy policy. Policy used in BAU, we have drafting the policy. The first is increase exploration of resource, potential, and proven energy reserve from new renewable energy. The second is increasing the electrification ratio by building micro hydro power plants and centralize and distribute solar power plant. The third, development or addition of power generation capacity and electricity supporting infrastructure. And then the last is we have additional generating capacity from renewable energy in 2030 to 2050, included hydropower, micro hydro, mini hydro, solar power, and geothermal. And then in the next scenario, the second scenario, REO, we drafting the policy. The first is we must increase the role of renewable energy in energy mix, increasing solar energy, increasing biomass, increasing the use of geothermal energy, increasing the use of water energy, increasing the use of biomass for electricity generation. And then for REO, we have added the co-firing policy in existing coal steam. It's about 2 until 5%. And then the second, energy conservation. This strategy consists of the reducing the contribution of diesel power plants to electricity generation. And then the last, we must reduce the contribution from steam power plant and natural gas in 2030 to 2050. The next presentation will be presented by Mr. Isma.
Okay, all right, everyone. In the first scenario is BAU scenario. In the BAU scenario, we will discuss the BAU scenario in the electricity supply in 2015, we will dominate by natural gas, coal, hydro, and geothermal sources. From the energy growth chart, we can observe that coal and natural gas will continue to have significant percent until 2015 as exiting resources. However, with the introduction of geothermal energy, effort will be made to reduce coal and natural gas. Use stored regulation applied in this scenario. Our biggest hope is that geothermal energy will even dominate the electricity demand. Next. In the REO second scenario, electricity supply is dominated by hydro and geothermal. The electricity supply in 2015 will be dominated by hydro and geothermal sources. From the energy growth chart, we can see that coal will decrease as a power generation resources until 2015. A significant increase is biomass, geothermal, and hydro resources is evident in this scenario REO. Next. Next, we will look at the implementation of the BAU scenario for power generation, which is almost similar to its energy sources. By applying the BAU scenario, the electricity supply is dominated by 4 power plants. The first, steam power plant, hydropower, natural gas, and geothermal power plant. The projection for the 4 main power plant in 2015 are follow the steam power plant 9 trillion gigawatt hour, hydropower 7.1 trillion gigawatt hour, natural gas 8.7 trillion gigawatt hour, and geothermal power plant 10.5 trillion gigawatt hour. Next. We will look the comparison for 2 scenario. The first scenario BAU and 2 scenario REO. By comparison scenario between at the result show a significant difference, especially is peak in 2015. In the BAU scenario, the dominant resources in 2015 is natural gas, coal, hydro, and geothermal. In the scenario 2 is scenario REO, the dominant resources in 2015 is hydro and geothermal. If we are seeking a solution with a focus on alternative geothermal resources, then the second scenario is more feasible. When we compare the power generation between the scenario, we can see the following. In the BAU scenario, where policies and trend are applied with major change to electricity generation, the steam power plant will continue to be used until 2015 with total energy production 9 trillion gigawatt hour, while geothermal is 10.5 trillion gigawatt hour. However, in the REO scenario, where policies and trend result in significant change to electricity generation, the total production of steam power plant in reduced to 4.3 trillion gigawatt hour, and geothermal is 13.5 trillion gigawatt hour. In the area scenario, the power plant that will provide the most supply are hydropower and geothermal. Now, with the comparison I explained early between the BAU scenario and area scenario, our group from group 1 also want to examine the project from GXG, greenhouse emission in North Sumatra, from 2 scenario. When applying the BAU scenario, emission will continue to increase, reaching to 70.3 million, and 2 scenario implementation the REO, the large target in 2015 will be 9.4 million, indicating a significant decrease. Now from the presentation, the conclusion is the long-term scenario applied to meet the electricity needs in North Sumatra. I meant at the reducing the use of coal-fired power plant or PLTU, inside the geothermal power or PLTP, and hydropower or PLTA play a significant role in fulfilling the electricity demand in the province of North Sumatra. In 2022, the source of electrical energy in North Sumatra was predominantly coal-fired power plant or PLTU, while by 2015 it will be dominated by hydropower or PLTA, geothermal power or PLTP, and biomass power or PLTBM. Geothermal energy holds substantial potential as sustainable sources of electrical in North Sumatra, and with proper implementation, it can help me the region electricity needs until 2015 and beyond. Thank you.
All right. So as the resume, the first speaker talked about the geothermal implementation in North Sumatra, and they used 2 scenarios, which are business as usual or BAU and REO. And from these 2 scenarios, when they compare, the first one will still result the emission, the gas emission, until 17.3 in 2050. Meanwhile, for the second scenario, it only reached 9 in 2050. So there is such a huge differences between these 2 scenarios. All right, then without further ado, we move to the question and answer section. Thus, I welcome to participants who want to ask question. You can move forward to the microphone where it's safe. Please, is there any question?
Thank you for the chance for me. I'm so impressive about your presentation because it's enough complex and it's related to my project. It's about solar power. My question is why solar power doesn't be your concern, and why solar power in Indonesia it's hard us or was hard to be applying in our country in Indonesia. And the second one, how come the supply of electricity doesn't fulfill the demand in 2050? Thank you.
For the next participant who wants to ask the question, please. Okay, please come forward to the microphone.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I want to ask for you. So we know that the two of scenario, there are business as usual and REO is changed so significantly. So are the two of these regulations very significantly different? Please explain me more about two scenario. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So the first question is about solar panel. Yeah, solar panel. Why you use geothermal instead of solar panel, and why the solar panel in how about the implementation solar panel in North Sumatra actually and in Indonesia in generally, and as well as for the second. Oh yeah, about demand and supply. Why the supply in North Sumatra after you generated two scenario it cannot fulfill the electricity demand? And for the second question from Mbak Nina, she asked about she wants you to explain more about the differences between two scenarios. So please to the speakers, you may answer the question.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Nia, and thank you, Mr. Khairul and Ms. Nina for the question. Maybe I will answer to the question from Mr. Khairul first. The first question is solar panel, solar power plant, yes. We have assumed that solar panel or solar power plant is maybe difficult to use in especially North Sumatra because there is due to several factors. The first is the area of North Sumatra does not cross the equator. So the intensity of the light from the sun is not as great as in other place or other area. And the second, the cost incurred for solar power plant are very large compared to other renewable energy power plant. This is a very high initial cost with an economic growth ratio that is not yet optimal, making it very difficult to build a solar power plant on a large scale. That's the reason, Mr. Khairul. And then I will answer the second question, why there is a deficit energy from our scenario, especially in renewable energy optimization, right? Okay. Actually, in this project, we will to know when we maximize the potential of geothermal in North Sumatra, what will happen with the electricity demand and supply in North Sumatra. Basically, this issue causes from scenario that we have been created. Jadi, first reason, we want to reduce the number of coal steam power plant. If we don't reduce the number of coal power plant, then there will be no energy deficit. So the resulting electricity supply will be sufficient to meet existing demand. And the second reason is there are still several energy sources that we have not maximized. such as hydropower and solar power plant. The solar power plant, I have already explained what the reason we not maximize the solar power plant. But in hydropower, we have some problem in reference that we have been read. In hydropower, some areas in North Sumatra have a problem with land acquisition. So we assume that we cannot maximize the hydropower in our scenario. So there is a deficit energy in our scenario, especially in REO scenario. It is enough, Mr. Koirul.
Yeah, it's all clear, Sir Koirul. Okay, thank you. Then for the next question.
Okay, for the second question from Miss Nina. Thanks for the question. The question is about why do the two scenario change significantly, and are the regulation for these two scenario very significantly different? We can see from the simulation of LEAP, there are different different simulating. From the first is we add the PLTU early retirement scenario from 2030 until 2050. It's starting to be implemented in the REO scenario, while the BAU has not yet been fully implemented. And from the LEAP, we can see the existing coal steam is decreased from the 2030 to 2050 early retirement scenario from existing coal steam. And then the second factor, or the second difference, in REO scenario, we implemented a co-firing policy of 5% at each coal-fired power plant and natural gas-fired power plant. And the third factor is in REO, we maximize the potential of renewable energy, RE, in the form of hydropower, wind, geothermal, and solar power plants. And then last, in REO scenario, in diesel power plants will be completely retired up to 0% in 2050. That is our answer. Thanks for the question, Miss Nina.
Okay. Okay, so this is the end of the first session. Thank you for the presenter. Please give round of applause to our first speaker.